hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I teased you Thursday night about my latest haul. I really don't do stash ads or haul pics, but sometimes they're fun stories and things happen. You know, I live in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Many of you guys know that. You follow my channel regularly, and there's a bunch of us YouTubers here in the area also. But we've got a pretty diverse modeling community here in Phoenix. And it has its benefits. We got some great hobby shops and some great people that are in this hobby. So when it comes to looking for certain things, a lot of times it's not really hard to find. You put the word out, you know, a lot of the guys here have stashes and large stashes and lots of parts kits. So one of the local guys, you know, who buys collections, he was selling some of these and said, "Hey, I'm having a backyard sale. Come by this weekend." I'm like, "Great," you know. And I never know what I'm going to get. And when he buys this stuff, he doesn't know what he's going to get. And that's, you know, I see it online all the time. Somebody's putting up their collection. They want to sell it in bulk. They want top dollar for it. And I understand that and I appreciate that. I've been the buyer on that side too. And this guy, same thing. He's the buyer. He doesn't know what's in the boxes. And nobody's going to sit down and go through each box, spend the time inventory and say, "Hey, this one's missing this one's missing that. I'm not going to pay you this for this one. I'm not going to pay you that for." They just kind of say, "Okay, I'll just take what you have. Here's the dollar amount." And I know it's usually a couple bucks here per box kind of thing, but that's kind of what happens here and, you know, what you get. So that's kind of how these came about to me and to him, is he kind of went through them, determined that they weren't retailable. They're started, pieces are missing. Hey, I'm not going to guarantee anything. You look over what's in the box and you decide what you want to buy. So that's how I got all this for $40. So now let's dive into here and see what I actually got. But, you know, I see that all the time, and, you know, people willing to ship, willing to sell their collections. And this is the result of some of that stuff. I've been there. I know many people have been there. All of us usually, you know, open a kit up and start it. But we'll start with some of these. And it's funny because this one caught my eye here, the Mustang convertible. I've been on kind of a Mustang convertible kit, looking at Fox bodies. Not interested in these two at all. Corvettes, you know, I haven't built a C4. I built one or two a long time ago. And the funny part is I was looking for this kit and I purchased this kit. So when he had another one and it was this price, I'll get into that. And I have this kit as well. But for, you know, basically $4 or $5 a box, I think this breaks down to, we'll get into the math here in a minute. And I didn't have this kit. This kit interests me. So we'll start diving into some of these and what I got. So like first, this is the 95 Corvette Indy Pace Car. And before I made this video, I actually spent a couple hours and I went through and checked fully what I actually got, so that I know what's going on. But this one, you know, first glance, I looked at it and it was pretty much complete. It's all there. Like I said, it's started. It's got some damage on the hood right here and here. That can easily be sanded and fixed. The mold lines are not all that great. It appears that all the chrome is here, not been removed. You know, and then here's you know, the interior. Most of this stuff is on the trees. This stuff has been painted, spray painted. I can strip that. These are specific to this kit. They're there. Same here. All of this stuff has been painted, spray painted, easy to strip. And going through it all, it looks like it's all here. So I was pretty ecstatic about this. I'm like, you know what? It'd make a great parts kit. The decals are in here and they look like they're pretty usable. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to grab this kit. Then upon inventorying it, I'd realized there's just one thing actually missing. And it's got these custom wheels, not even a match set. I got one of this wheel, three of this wheel. So there's wheels in the box. But, you know, I'm like, this is a good score. The only thing I noticed after really going through it and looking it over, the clear parts, the windshield, the rear glass, that's not in here. So there's a tree that has the windshield, the rear glass, and the distributor wires. They're not in here. So let's put all this back. So those parts were missing. I'm like, okay, so that's what is actually missing from this kit. But that's one of the reasons why I grabbed some of these other kits, like this Corvette Grand Sport kit. And sometimes the fun of this is trying to figure out what the original builder was wanting to do. I opened this box up and I bagged this, and I noticed there's two bodies in here. Here's a coupe body, and here's the roadster body. Now, since I did inventory it, I pulled, looked this over. The Grand Sport kit is here completely. The decals are here. It's all here. Some parts are off the trees. The tires are kind of started, but they're there. Taillights are in there. All the chrome. Engine's glued together. But nothing is painted. It's all here. And the one thing, here's what's missing out of the other convertible kit. I don't have this tree. So maybe I'll look for this tree. I don't really have plans for this particular kit. I already have one of these, but I'm like, for this, it's a good parts kit. So I grabbed it, but it also had this in there, and I saw the instructions for the 95 Corvette ZR1, and this one's really started. It's got two sets of windshields for the coupe in there, and I think the original builder was probably wanting to make a Grand Sport coupe from the Revell kit, not do the AMT kit. But the ZR1 body is wider here in the back and a little bit different back here. So I think that might have been his original intent. But when I looked this one over, it's missing one front wheel back, no tires, both seats are gone, one of the fans is gone, the radiator top is missing, there's a body brace that's missing, the taillights are gone, there's no decals. But still, there's two Corvettes in this box. So this one was stuffed, even though it was all fit in there. Once I bagged the other kit, that was packed. So let's get those out of the way. That leads me to this one. As I mentioned, I wanted this kit. I was looking for this kit. I bought one of these off of eBay. It's a much nicer box. But when I looked at this one, here's the tinted glass. So it's got the glass. Here's all the parts, still bagged, nothing off the trees. This is complete. I was like, wait a minute. And okay, what's missing? Here's the instructions. There's the decals. So those are in there. Tires are here. Taillights are here. Backup lights, which they're the smoked instead of clear. Here's the spark plug wire, the spark plug wire that came in these kits. There's a heater hose. So these high performance series had that. And here's all the chrome parts. I was looking it over. This kit's complete. There's nothing missing. The box may not be in the nicest of shape, and maybe that's what it was. They decided that maybe that this one wasn't retailable, or maybe it was a mistake and it should have been, because the box is a little ratty. But I generally don't save the box. But so I grabbed this kit. Like, all right, this one's complete. Grand Sport is complete as far as I can tell. And I mean, I really went over these. I was like, all right, happy with that. Then this one. I've seen this one before, but I've never taken a really close look at it. This is the Aerovette from Revell Monogram. I thought it was an older tool. This one's from '98. But once I decided to look at it, this thing's pretty nice. Molded in detail. Nothing is started, just kind of mocked up. Looking it over. Some of the parts are off. Here's the dash. Here's the nose. Here's all of the, couple of the shocks. Some of the parts. There's not a whole lot of parts to this kit. But it's a pretty nice kit. Here's all the clear parts. Nothing missing. Windshield. There's that. There's the mid-engine. And I'm like, you know what? This interests me. It's one of the mid-engine concepts, and I don't know how many were actually kitted. Here's the chrome, the tires. Which I think I need a set of these tires for something else. And then the wheel backs. And then the instructions. And the decals. Now, when I really went through this kit, I noticed I'm missing this steering column part right here, this number 10 steering column. He took the dash off, the steering wheel's there, all those parts, but that number 10 is missing. I went over the instructions, looked this one over, so I'm missing just one part out of this kit. And I think I do want to build this kit because it's quite an interesting subject and looks like it's an easy build and it'd be a nice one to do. So I'll be looking for that part. So I make these little notes for me to remind myself that, hey, that's missing. Then the last score here was this one. This one, as I mentioned, I had just recently picked up a couple of these. I have an 83, 84 convertible, and I needed some parts. Matter of fact, those of you that are on my Facebook and know, I put the word out that, hey, I'm looking for a couple of parts, and Dwayne Alexander helped me. I needed a hood for my 92. I wanted an up top for the 84 because I didn't have the up top, but I had the boot. And then I needed a piece of suspension, the windshield, and a couple of parts, and a missing fog light lens. And Dwayne helped me out and sent me those parts. So, and I bring that up, thank you, Dwayne. And I bring that up because this is what happens to me. When I'm no longer looking for the parts, I see this. I'm like, all right, that's a great kit. I've got a few of those. That's a great kit. I got a few of those. There was a piece of tape on here that said Boss 429 parts. So I'm like, okay, what's actually in this box? I open this thing up, and my big surprise, and I have really gone through this thing and inventoried it. And I kind of threw them in the bags because of this. Here's what's left of the 64 Mustang convertible, with technically a 65. Good chunk of the interior, some of the parts, the decals, the hood, up top, rear bumper. But that's it. So the 64 Mustang is gone. I'm like, all right. When I was taking a quick look, I noticed some of the instructions. There was instructions in here. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a Cobra, 93 Mustang Cobra. What is in there? So I really started to look it over. There's the Cobra Body and a lot of the trees. And I have one of these kits. And I really started to look it over. I'm like, it almost looks complete. There is some parts missing, and I went over. For whatever reason, both engine block halves, the intake manifold, the cylinder heads, and 2 of the tires are missing. That's all that's needed to complete this kit. I have an idea on this kit, and so I may do something with this. I got an idea, and I may have to track down some of those parts. Now, I saw the 89 Mustang in there with the broken A-pillar. I'm like, all right, it's in there. So let's start looking it over, and I saw it had the wheels, so they definitely have the 89 wheels. But the clear parts are there, the intake manifold's there. So I really went over this kit and looked it all over. And here's what was missing out of it. Both engine block halves, both exhaust manifolds, the decals, and 2 tires, both left tires, because the tires on this are left and right specific. Again, I've got an idea. I'm actually thinking, because I was thinking about Fox bodies and some of the ones I'd like to do. I'd like to do the SAAC GT350 from 92. The club edition cars, they built like 40 of them. And I know Ray's Decals actually offers the decals. I've seen them on there. But I would need to combine some of the Mustang GT parts with the Cobra Body parts to do the coupe and make that car. And then, like, this one's missing the exhaust manifolds. That one's missing the heads, but it has the exhaust manifolds. And those parts are pretty much the same. So between the 2 of them, I really only need the engine block halves. And then another thing is kind of a surprise. Here's some of the parts and the decal sheet for the Super Stallion. This is a kit that's kind of on my radar. I haven't picked one up, but it's a kit that interests me and I wanted to get one. But this has the clear parts and some of the stuff. There's no engine, no body. Some of the scoops are here that are from that. But there's a lot missing, no chrome, but here's like half the parts. So I don't really have any plans for that, but they were in the box. Another one that, and I have a set of tires. I think these might go with this. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have instructions. And then these tires are in there too, the Goodyear GT radials. These are probably from the 70 Mustang, Boss 429 or Boss 302. But there's only 2 of them. But I always use those. And then last was this one. This was one that was on my radar, and I saw it in here, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting it. This is what sealed the deal for me. This is the 96 Mustang Cobra convertible kit. And this bag is sealed. There's the Cobra hood. This one hasn't even been opened. And then I looked, there's the chrome tree, there's the glass, there's the tires, the decals are in here, the instructions are in here. So this kit was mostly complete. Here's the instructions. Here's where it got me. I really started to look it over and I noticed, wait a minute, one wheel inner and one wheel outer are missing. Okay, so I'll just need to find those and I'll put it up there eventually. And then I've got two front tires, but no rear tires. And it looks like these are the same tires that are in that Astrovet kit. But I went through my stash of tires and I don't have any of these. And I've got a big box of tires. So I'll be eventually looking for those and the wheel. So this was a full-on score, something that I wasn't expecting. But I was glad to see that this box was full of Mustangs and full of the stuff that, a lot of stuff that interests me. So, like, I got almost 3 complete kits, but all of them are missing parts. Here's a half of a 4th kit and maybe a 1/3 of a 5th kit. So there was 5 kits worth of stuff in this thing. It was like, oh, and 2 tires from the boss. So, and you know, these Cobra kits are kind of crazy on eBay. They're getting hard to find, but all the major Cobra parts are here. Everything that you specifically need is here. So a couple of tires and engine parts, and this kit's complete. But like I mentioned, there's a certain one that I'd like to build. So I got ideas with this stuff. And sometimes when I grab these kits and get them like this, they become great for partying and trading and sometimes just experimenting. You know, you get some of this stuff, you start gluing them, fitting them together, mocking them up, just playing with them. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work out. And I've done that with some of my models. Matter of fact, one that comes to mind started off that way was it turned into a 70 GTO Judge convertible. I mentioned in my video, but it started out as a 71 glue bomb that I cut the roof off and I was just kit bashing it with 69 Hurst Oldsmobiles just to see if all the body stuff would fit, and sanded and worked the body. And it was apparent to me that was going to work, but it was a glue bomb body. And I decided, all right, that was kind of practice, kind of fun. And sometimes bodies like that turn into airbrush practice. You can mess up your airbrush with that. And I did that. So, and then I eventually took what I learned and made that 70 GTO body, because I ended up buying another kit where the windshield post was broken. So I ended up buying that kit. And I'm like, hey, here's a perfectly good 70 GTO body. I'll cut the roof off the rest of the way and make the convertible out of it. I learned with one glue bomb, found another broken body, and built that. So that was the fun and the lesson learned in some of that stuff. And that's why I grabbed some of these, is I can play with them or do whatever. Like this one's complete. There's most of this parts in there. There's other parts in there. Maybe I'll take the LT5 engine that's in this and kit bash it into an older car. Put the Corvette wheels and Corvette suspension on it. I've done that before too, because most of that stuff's in there other than the tires. I think I have a set of tires in my stack, but got tires here, got tires here. But with the windshield, I can make this kit. I don't have this kit. I have one of these. So with all of these Corvettes, I can at least build 2 of them with what's in these boxes right here. And at $40, you can't buy 2 kits retail anymore for that, unfortunately. And the same thing with this. There's, you know, all of these Mustangs, they're all missing something, but there's plenty here. And then I can trade away whatever I don't need to hopefully find what I do need. So just kind of fun. And for me, it's kind of fun to go through this stuff and find this stuff. Wasn't planning on buying these kits. That's how it goes when you go to things like this. You never know what you're going to find. But had a good time and enjoyed sharing this stuff to you and just kind of dreaming of what I could do with these kits. So thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Saturday.